We continue with more of our tribute to Patrice O'Neal.
Joining Opie, Anthony, and Jim Norton in this segment are comedians Louis C.K., David Tell, Jim Florentine, Joe DeRosa, Kurt Metziger, and Russ Meniv.
Got a lot of guys in the studio.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Jim Norton,
Everyone's
Jim
hilarious.
Florentine, Louis C.K.,
Colin has left.
Colin
David
left.
Tell has come in.
Joe
Yeah.
DeRosa,
back on the
Kurt
air.
Metzger, who's Russ
And
Meniv.
Russ
We haven't
Meniv.
seen Russ in a while. What's up, Dave?
Hey, guys. I
Hey,
just want to
Russ.
say, as a representative of the white comedy community, I'm glad to be here. And, it's a horrible loss. And I think now we have every race and creed represented
That's right.
in the room.
We're all, it is funny. This is Patrice's home. There's not one black guy in
No,
here.
no.
There's
Yeah, where
not
was
one.
Keith? I thought
He
he
died. The one black guy.
Keith.
I don't know. Keith is. I saw Keith last night, but he knows today or tomorrow it's an open invite to come in. Or Kevin Hart, I don't think is in New York right now.
Yeah, we'll
Of course.
take some more people tomorrow.
And that about covers it.
Yeah, and then
That's
there's
it.
and then there's
motherfucker. That's it.
yeah.
I think it's great that you guys are doing this, and it's a shock. And I don't know about anybody in this room, but because of Twitter and all that kind of stuff, I can't even process exactly what's happening or what happened, and it's just a horrible loss. So yeah,
It really is, and you see it on Twitter, and you just see how many people love the guy.
yeah. But how many
amazing.
paid to see him? Huh?
Yeah, that's true.
I hate to be the
They come out of the
I hate to be
woodwork
the
now.
douche and bag of the conversation here, but yeah, everybody loves him for free. We got a purple suit to buy and a gigantic coffin. All right, let's make things happen. All right, enough hemming and hawing about it.
Oh my
We got
God.
bills.
Oh my God.
999. What? Oh, sorry. That was the last time I was here. No, but I mean, honestly, it's true. There's a lot of fans, and
Oh my God.
what? Well, what were you guys talking about before I got here?
No, Patrice. We didn't bring it up. You're the first one to bring it up.
Yeah.
Oh, the president's in town. You're right.
Yeah.
There's so many other
We're going
things
to talk
happening.
about that.
Holy
Purple suit and a giant coffin.
First of all, Patrice was probably the most fucking hardcore. Could not give a shit about what anybody thought, and that starts from the show business itself. He could not. I've never seen a guy walk away from more projects.
Oh, God.
The
Yep.
Office. He was on that, right?
Yeah.
He was like, "Fuck, I'm out of it. This is like, no, I don't want to do this."
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development, Web Junk, and I'm sure like several movies where they like just probably wanted. Russ worked with him on the last pilot for Comedy Central, right?
Yeah, that's right. And
Russ Meniv, everybody.
yeah, and he, the way you're saying that, we were involved in something with his pilot, and it wasn't going the way he wanted it to go, and there was a room full of Comedy Central executives, and I'm telling you, he screamed. Not even a hiccup of anxiety or and just for 20 minutes, just a steady stream of well thought out insults, and just let everybody have with no fear of losing it or what. He was really, really willing to walk away.
Ultimate
all the time.
balls.
Yeah, totally.
Ultimate balls.
From the beginning, from his whole life.
Yeah.
Jim,
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
tweeted a picture yesterday, you and Patrice on a movie set, and how miserable he was, or something like that.
Furry
Did he do
Vengeance.
something on there?
We fucking did, which is not a great film. We played construction workers, and we had this. They gave us honey wagons.
I saw you guys in two construction
Dave
hats.
just starts laughing. Fire Vengeance. We play construction workers.
But I was like the codependent wife. He was just embarrassing to be associated with because we had to go in and do our first meet with the director, and we had sat around all day. And I'm trying to hey, we're doing a movie, and it's a Brooke Shields movie, and we're sitting down, and he's just.
You're like the battered wife making excuses.
I'm like, you know what? He's tired.
The wife of the alcoholic.
Everybody hated him on that shoot. He was so.
He never had a time like when you first come to New York and start being in showbiz or whatever. Everybody has some awful cringeworthy memory of meeting a booker or whoever and shooting up too quickly from your chair. Oh, hi, thank you. Yes, thank you. He never lived that moment in his whole life. He could be slumped in a chair, and Steven Spielberg walks up to him and he looks at him like, "Do I have to take my hand out of my pocket to shake your hand?" How you doing?
Uppity, I think it's the word you're looking for. He's uppity. But a good kind of uppity.
He was a very down energy uppity.
But I can
Very
say this because I
laid-back
talked to,
uppity.
and I think a lot of the comics here will back me up. There's a lot of comics who wishes they could be here, and you've been getting calls from people. To this young generation of comedy, like Louie and I are kind of like, in gym, like we're all the gyms here. There's like 9 gyms. We're different. But to like Russ's people and Joe especially, like Joe's people, Joe DeRosa's people, Patrice was the guy that they looked up to because he was definitely the fucking wildest, like, commander of like a stage and like, especially with the New York City club scene, which is way better than, like the LA club scene in terms of like, you're going to get in somewhere eventually here. It's not like you're going to do a couple of improv classes and meet somebody who does a voiceover thing and rescue a dog and just kill some time, hopefully before you're 40 years old, something happens. But here, like these guys looked up to him because he like could dominate these clubs, and then if he didn't like the clubs, he wouldn't go back. It wouldn't be like this whole thing of like, play ball or whatever. And that's pretty, especially for a guy who is a great comic. You want to see him perform a lot. I don't think Patrice, only on his terms. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
he
never lived a false moment. I don't think.
No,
he just wasn't willing to.
Sometimes he would allow, though. Patrice is the thing, and he was his uncomfortability with people. Sometimes he misread situations where he thought that people were being worse than they were, and there was times he would go back and realize, like, I probably shouldn't have handled that way. That was self-destructive. Like he was also good at looking back with self-analysis and going,
Remember when Chris Rock gave him that speech?
Oh boy.
We had Chris Rock gave him.
Well, I remember because Chris and I, when we were doing this fucking stupid Pootie Tang, we were auditioning people, and Patrice was, for both of us, one of our favorite guys.
Yeah.
We loved Patrice, and we wanted to put him in the movie. And I don't remember which part it was, but there was a big, huge part that was his.
Oh, shit.
As long as he just walked in and just made a basic effort.
And Louis, he was a good actor, right?
He was.
He was a really good actor.
He could act. He
could
was really good. And so it was just, and anyway, Chris and I were working on it together at the time and doing a bunch of things at once. And that audition that he did took place without us there. So we saw a tape. And we just see him walk in with this script at his side in his big hand. And he just looks at the camera like, do I have to do this right now? And he kind of picks up the script with this big, all right. And just starts reading the lines like, this is shit. I hate this. You could see the sweat on his face said, like, I had to walk here from whatever. Yeah. I hate this. And we're like, we really wanted to give him the part, but we couldn't.
Wow.
But we talked about that he was wasting opportunities because of how much talent he had.
Yeah.
And if he could make a few little adjustments to doing exactly what he wants every 10 seconds. I mean, he might have been seen by more people. It's hard because we love the guy because he was like that. And when he made it to 40, it was like, all right, you made it to 40 this way. Now it's working. It's just starting to work. But if he had taken, again, I'm angry he didn't take better care of himself. It's part of your job. If you're given, he was giving a vital ingredient to America comedy.
Right.
And he deprives everybody of it now because he fucking wouldn't stop drinking grape soda. So, and eating McDonald's.
Spike Lee loved him too, and he was in 25th Hour, and Spike uses the same guys over and over and over.
Yeah.
Really?
And he does. I've seen all of his films.
I don't see Spike in here, do you?
Well, there's a good reason. There's a reason for that, Dave.
Okay, go ahead.
Please. This is called. This is a black bridge that was burned.
I see.
You think it was just white people he offended? He was. He had a pilot. Like, Spike wanted him to do a project or to hold off on a project, like because it was between Patrice and another guy. But Spike really liked him, and Spike's like, please just don't go out to LA for pilot season. And Patrice just refused to bend. He's like, I got to go out for pilot season. And Spike's like, I just want you to. Can I just keep you on hold? Because he wanted to use him for that or something else. And Spike actually called him personally, which you really don't do. And he goes, look, I really would like you to do this, to hold out for me. And he goes, well, you're calling me. That's, this is my agent should be talking to you. This is my agent expressing my wishes.
Oh, my God.
And Spike's like, you won't do it? And he goes, no. And Spike goes, all right, then. and hung up on him, and that was the last time he spoke to Spike Lee.
I've never heard a revisionist white man telling two black men talking story. That'd be like my mom describing a reach around donkey punch. He took all the spirit and emotion out of it. And then Spike said,
"One gentleman puts his penis in the."
Well, I didn't want to jig it up too much.
"You may have the road, Patrice, by my liege."
How was I supposed to say it? And the one motherfucker's on the phone.
Now you got my
And he's like,
attention.
was all
Check it out. Yeah, like set the stage. It's Brooklyn in a deserted playground.
hung up that motherfucker, ate chicken, looked at white pussy. I don't do good black impressions. I just do me.
That was pretty good right there.
Thank you very much,
That was
Lou.
pretty good. Oh fuck! You know what though? Fuck Spike Lee with his fucking. You know, if he did he he wasn't hiring him.
No,
he
but
wasn't saying here's money, so don't go get that other money.
But he wasn't
He
asking
was
us to go
saying,
get
maybe
money.
I'll give you this.
So
So
it was like a test.
But now I don't remember the entire
fuck that.
story, but he really.
fuck that shit.
I'm not in a position to say
him.
fuck Spike Lee because I would love to do one of his pictures.
So would I.
Was this
But
before
from,
Katrina?
From Patrice's
Was it?
from Patrice's dead point of view, that's easy to now take.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fuck
exactly.
Spike Lee. I'm going to say through dead Patrice.
And because
Fuck
Patrice,
Spike Lee. Patrice don't give a fuck about Spike
and
Lee.
because Patrice is dead and can no longer help me, fuck Patrice. I'm with Spike Lee. I'll side with the director who's alive.
Yeah, that's right. Louis is the only living director in here. That's right. No, but Joe, you made a movie recently, right?
I made a short film with Bobby Kelly
there we go.
and Bill Burr. If I don't say that, I'm going to get screamed at.
Wow.
Great, you fucking shithead.
You fucking Arab cocksucker! You didn't say my fucking name when you mentioned the fucking movie.
Jesus.
But you know, these guys, Kurt and Joe and like Jay Okeson and Mike Vecchione, these guys like knew Patrice in the day, right? Like back in like he like kind of like shepherded you white boys.
Yeah, he really.
Go ahead.
He was nice to white boys.
No, he really was like.
He was, man.
Because you guys used to tell me.
Because his whole principle was like, never let somebody give you, hold something over you they can take away from you. So that's what, like, at the roast, dude, that was like the most tense, shitty fucking job. And like I had to work with him because he wouldn't talk to the writers. Like it made like a whole stink. He had his manager call. I don't know if they thought I was in an office separately, but they called the writers' room just to talk to me. So the head writer, Ray, picks it up and goes, "Here, it's for you." And because he just wanted me to go over his jokes with him. So they're really territorial with that shit, dude. Like, that was like a whole thing. And he didn't give a fuck. And I watched Ray talk to him. And Ray's a fucking really good writer, but he's like the same kind of like, the same way Patrice would be as a comic. He's like that of writers where he won't like.
Ray's a really funny dude.
Yeah, he's
really
a funny dude. But so I watched Ray on the phone, like trying to talk down, like tell Patrice how it was going to be. And I just saw Ray silent. And his neck turned red. And I found out later, Patrice, like, he told me, man, I don't give a, you think the head writer is shit. Like, don't ever talk to me that way. Like, he just, like, smashed him down. I was like, wow, dude, you could do that? I mean, this just happened.
You could reason with Patrice and get him to change his opinion,
you could.
but it had to be voluntary. You never, ever, were going to beat him or intimidate him into changing his
never.
opinion.
No, he wasn't. He didn't choose his battles. He didn't go like, maybe it's better to let this go.
That's true.
Fight another day. Yeah. He's just like, no, I'm not doing this. Right in front of me, I'm not doing it.
But his
This one thing.
performance, and we'll all agree on it. I mean, like, just like even the specials he shot, like usually like when you shoot a special, they never capture the guy. Like
Right.
I think 88% was captured with him. Like I saw at least 1/2 hour with him where like it just totally fit. Everything was right, and the crowd got him. And it was good to see because him and I used to talk all the time about like we do these we do these shows different places, and it's like these people were not getting me. I get walkouts, that kind of stuff. And like for him especially because like I'm a bit of a fag. Like I'll midget joke my way out of it. He didn't have any of that in there. He'll fucking go harder and harder.
He was one of those guys, yeah. When it turned ugly on stage, he'd be like, okay, you want to do it like this?
Yeah.
Now, he wouldn't dance around and try to find a way back in with that.
Well, he
Yeah, there was so
Be
many.
like, oh, okay, we're enemies now.
There was so many clubs I go into improvs at Funny Bones the week after, and like Patrice walked about 300 people over 5 shows.
We all love that.
Yeah, I just like really like.
shit.
I go, did he even?
Best
No,
story.
he just wanted to walk more. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Just get the fuck out. Just
Yeah.
go right now.
When he got sent home from Hilarities in Cleveland, they fired him, I think, in the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Then at the Knacker
Those
Club,
are the
And I met
greatest
that
stories.
guy.
That's fantastic, right?
Yes, I just so. I mean, I want to know the details of that. I wish I was there for all of that.
Yeah.
Whatever show was the one where they're like, okay, we can't.
You
can't
gotta
keep-
go. You
like
gotta
what they
leave.
tried having the sweet, funny energy middle guy close one of the shows. Maybe let him middle for the same money. Let the other guy close, and then still no. He's got to go.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And how does it get to that
He's got to
point?
leave.
Is there
Cleveland.
a talk first?
He needs to go
I don't
home.
know.
I
Is it like
if
a
they
talking?
send him
Yeah,
home.
yeah, you got to go home. You got to leave.
Yeah.
You're killing us.
Can't even keep the hotel. We just need to, you need to get out of town.
But you'd envy his integrity. Like, even, like, again, sometimes he made the wrong decision or he was dumb, but the integrity he had with, I'm not going to bend and whore myself. Every comedian envies that because, yeah, the collateral damage is you fuck up some good things, but the reality is at the end of the day, you never feel like you're a fucking prostitute.
Like
ever.
you were grabbing your ankles at some point.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I think we all have those moments in our careers.
That's a great name for a pilot. Grabbing my ankle. I'm grabbing my ankles
on
here in
NBC.
Belize. What when Colin was in here, we missed it because we were on the second wave of people, me and Russ coming in.
Yes.
We decided it would be better to go to a Baptist church first, and you know.
Good for you. No, I would have done that. Yeah, good
Well,
for you.
that's all right. You guys, everybody grieves differently.
No, that's good for you.
But did you guys talk about the tough crowd? Because like the initial
No,
grouping
not
of the
much.
tough-
Not much, actually.
You didn't?
Yeah.
Okay, because people still bring that up to me. They're like, tough crowd. And it's always like the same skeevy chick who was like hot 10 years ago. But she's like, you know, I love that tough crowd. And then she would go through like, you know, about you guys and how you guys all, you know, gel together. And there really was a gel. And I think we all did bits on that. You were on it. I were
Couple
on it.
of times, yeah.
But like you guys definitely
were the
had
core,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
you and Patrice and
and
Nick.
Geraldo.
Nick and
Paulo,
Geraldo and
Nick,
Keith
Geraldo,
Robinson
yeah.
and Carl. I mean, it
Yeah.
was one of his favorite things he ever did. It was one of mine.
Colin getting bashed every fucking show. Oh,
What
my
host
God.
allows himself to be attacked?
Oh, and did you guys kill? He would just be wearing shorts or some shit, and you would attack his little Irish legs.
I was watching one recently where we would slap it. It was Pat Cooper was there, and Voss and me and Patrice, and it was 5 guys instead of 4, and then you would just tag out the guy, like if he said something hacky
Oh, he'd
or
have to
something
sit
awful,
down,
yeah,
yeah.
and you have to go to the bench.
Sit down.
We had a bench, and whoever said something really hacky or if a joke bombed, you got fucking tag teamed out.
Great bit.
Yeah, it was just an original way to do a talk show.
Watching him slam people on that show was you know, I remember watching him and Marin on there one time, and Marin's fucking hilarious. And they started talking about the Bible, and Marin goes, "What? It ended when it needed to end. What if there was a third testament?" And he started into this Mark Marin thing, like you could hear it start. He goes,
Oh, no.
He goes, and let's say the third testament opens up, and he got that far, and you just hear Patrice off camera go, "Shut up, Mark."
Dude, did you already watch the clip of him trashing that fan? A tough crowd.
Oh,
Like,
man.
I wasn't there for
that
that
was a
one.
good one.
That's so great because that fan wants to stick to his Vietnamese guns and doing that voice.
Yeah.
And Patrice just won't fucking. He's like, "Will you pull
He'll
out
have-
of the Vietnam Matrix?" For fuck's sake?"
He'll have no part of it. Yeah.
And he's just. I mean, it's because it's all his insults. It's like what you were just talking about. All his insults are like insightful. Like he scanned you and figured your shit out.
Yeah.
That's what-
Exactly, man. Yeah, he didn't just throw out shit that was surface insults. He knew what the fuck would get you.
He profiled people extremely
Yeah.
well, extremely
Yeah,
well,
quickly, too.
And that's why when he smashed you with something, it was like, oh,
It was personal. Yeah. You're like,
A little too real with
You'd
that
walk
one.
into the Comedy Zone, he'd stare you down for like 20 seconds. You knew it was coming. You're like, all right, fuck,
and then
what
you
did I-
got a personalized bashing.
Yeah.
the worst.
no
though.
stab.
Yeah, no,
no
he's been
bashing.
he's been looking at you with the red Terminator screen, like doing an analysis,
Oh, fuck.
breaking it down.
He walked people. He walked people in regular life, not just in shows. I remember
He
all
walked the crowd in a restaurant.
I swear. One night at the cellar, all the waitresses from Caroline's went down. They were all dolled up and they all looked hot. And we were all like, "Wow, we're gonna try to fuck all the waitresses from Caroline's tonight." And they single file walked out. And I go, "Where are you girls going?" They go, "Well, it was fun until Patrice showed up and got going." Because he just sat there going, "You stink. I bet you're fucking pussy." But you know,
He did stink. They all did stink.
yeah, they did.
I mean, that was a great day. He was right.
The worst was when you'd fucking start dating a girl and you'd bring her into the cellar and they were all there and you'd see the look and you're like, oh fuck, this is. I'm gonna get. First of all, I'm gonna get attacked in front of her and humiliated because you don't feel like a real comic when fucking 5 guys are just kicking your teeth in.
Why would you bring a girl?
Yeah, why would you bring a girl?
It was a tactical error.
Yeah.
You know, you want to bring her to the
Technically, it
cellar.
wasn't a girl.
That's
Yeah,
brutal.
exactly.
We're not a supportive group.
Were you coming from the Mark
like
Twain
other people.
Awards? Come on, little lady.
Dude, do you
That's
remember
just starting.
Jim, do you remember that when you came in? You came in with that girl, and I remember you came over and asked him not to be. That was your mistake. You asked him to not be a dick. Like you came to some girl and sat at the back.
That ain't
and
gonna
Patrice
work.
was sitting like a middle table, and he kept. He goes, "Hey,
Three
Dr.
waters.
Octopus!" 'Cause you're Spider-Man.
Senate committee.
It was when he was making fun of you for opening up for Dice. So you came with this girl, and you tried to sit her away from both the table and the middle
shit.
table.
Yeah.
And it was right after the Dice thing. So he starts doing this Dice voice at you at the top of his lungs. He would not leave you alone. And you're like, "Can you please? I'm with a girl." And then it was like blood in the water. Like, just like a shark would not stop.
I don't remember. I vaguely remember asking him, like, just not please,
Please,
not
not
tonight,
tonight,
not
right?
tonight, please.
I really like this one.
This is really. I need. We argued about that one time. I'm like, I need everything to work for me to fuck. Like I can't. It has to all work
You
out.
brought
for
it
me
to the wrong
see.
place.
He
You
used to
thought
help
you
me with
thought you were
girls,
just
yeah.
gonna walk in like, "Dad, this is Henry. It's his place."
Yeah.
Did he really? It really like,
Henry. Jim.
I remember
Henry.
pissing girls off and getting laid as a result. I mean, actually, one time we did Mohegan Sun. It was right after this, my ex dumped me, and he was trying to cheer me up. So we're sitting in that horrible.
that worked.
That cafeteria. You know, that cafeteria where in the casino. He picks out this big fat, like the fattest Dominican girl I've ever seen in my life. And he just starts talking about fucking me, like really openly in this randomly in cafeteria. And I'm horrified, like, dude, don't. He's like, yeah, no, he's got a big dick. I heard. Why don't you take it? And dude, this girl called me up late. Like, it fucking worked.
Wow.
Did you bang her?
Now I called he had no respect for me, so I called my ex to come back up and fuck me instead of I should have fucked that fat girl.
See, there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas in this room. Hey, it's about Patrice.
Yeah.
Dude, she called me up in the middle of the night and asked if I was hungry. It was amazing.
That was at the Mohegan Sun in the cafeteria.
In the employee cafeteria, he just picked up a
God,
fat
we live the
Dominican.
worst fucking lives in the world, don't we?
He'd get you laid. The only stipulation was you had to fuck a girl that looked like Patrice.
I know we're talking about him like he was fucking like he was Nicholson in the '70s. He helped you fuck a fat chick in a cafeteria.
I didn't even do it.
What a life! Oh, what a shame!
Yeah, what a
Can't
loss.
believe that came to a
Yeah,
halt.
trying to hook you up with a fat Dominican chick in a fucking.
After she just did a double shift, and she smelled like fucking food.
I should have done
God,
it. I really
that's
should have
gotta-
done it. I should have
that's
fucked that
gotta
fat
reek.
chick.
For the story, yeah.
Did you guys do that roast of Patrice at
Boston.
was that
I
Boston
think.
Comics?
I believe Boston.
Because I remember all the comics were like, "Hey, there was like a big wave of people like, what's all the excitement? Where's everyone going?" They're like, "They're roasting Patrice over at the like it was like a lynching in the 20s." Just like freckle face guys who are no longer comics and just like weird. Like ventriloquists were running over, magicians, everybody like, "We're gonna get him!" And then all these long faces leaving because Patrice can hold his own. Like a wildebeest, like in that animal video where the wildebeest like saves the smaller beast from the
From the
gator.
lions.
From the lion, yeah,
From the
like
gator.
that. He could hold his own.
I remember that. I think I remember that.
Is that where Keith bombed?
Yes, I think that was the one where Keith went up and tried to
to
just
wing it.
improv. Like, why are we roasting this man?
Fuck, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was the one.
Yeah, he came in late. He came in late, and
thought
just
he
went
could just
right up to the
go with
fucking.
it. Yeah.
Nothing prepared at all.
And that's like
Yeah,
2003
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And that because we were off
We were
the
off the
air,
air, man.
And I remember I wasn't sitting next to you, and one of the comedians pointed out how I wasn't sitting next to you and how I sold you out because we were off the air.
yeah,
That's how I know when that was. I think it was
funny,
2003.
man. Yeah.
Jumped on Colin's coattails was the joke.
Yeah,
Went from us to him.
Yeah.
That's sad. I loved his bits about being paranoid as a black guy, like not one. If he threw away a soda,
That was fucking
he
brilliant.
didn't throw it out on the street because it might land next to somebody, like some dead girl.
Yeah, dead white girl.
Yeah.
He'd be the Coca-Cola killer.
The Pepsi Cola rapist. He's like, if I go over a hill and land by a dead white girl, the Pepsi Cola rapist.
And he'd always get a receipt. So it was marked
no
what time
matter
it was.
By gum.
That's actually, you know what? I think there was some truth in that too.
No,
That
there
a
was.
fucking,
You could tell. That's why it was funny. But that's what
Yeah.
it was like a totally other thing.
Yeah.
It's like I remember reading a thing about Rocky when they made that movie and that Stallone was peddling the script. Nobody wanted to make it.
Right.
And then whoever made it, the guy producer, said he's reading yet another boxing picture. Like there's so many. Who's going to want to make this? And then he goes, and then 3 pages in, this guy's talking to his turtles. And I'm like, what is this? And it made him pay attention. That's what Patrice was like. He's like, here's another big black comedian on stage.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to watch him with one eye open. And then he's talking about this Pepsi Cola rapist thing and these silly, weird, totally different insight into being a huge black guy than anybody. And you go,
Yeah.
wait a minute, a whole other thing.
I thought you were going into a different direction where you were saying trying to convince him of something was as frustrating as talking to turtles. Like you have a better shot at winning an argument with them.
But we all agree he was black.
He was black.
At the end of this, we're all gonna say
He was black.
really, and from Boston too.
He was a black guy from Boston.
So, Louis, do you think you ever met him like as a child?
No. Oh, no.
Because you're from a different town.
No,
right?
Boston, totally segregated.
Would you say like
Boston is, I mean, I don't
We know.
giantly different.
like Nick DiPaolo probably
Never saw me.
never?
No. There was, you,
maybe in a
they
school bus.
did not walk on the same street.
Nick wouldn't even sit on the couch with him on Tough Crowd.
No, every time I had a Boston comedian over, like sometimes a Boston comedian would call me when I first moved here and ask to stay with me to try to be in New York. And we'd be like on the Upper West Side, and he'd be like, "Why you live in a black neighborhood?" Like literally all the time.
You see any black people, it
4
must be a black
people
neighborhood. Yeah.
for 20 blocks. This is black. This is a black neighborhood. But no, Patrice. I don't know what part of Boston he was from. I don't
Roxbury.
know.
Roxbury.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
That's a good place, right? I don't know anything about Boston.
He was the best to argue race with, though, because even when
Oh,
we
God,
for
yeah.
hours, because even when you didn't agree with it, he always had a great point of view. It was like, and you always had to respect what he was saying. It's like it wasn't just the typical black guy sounding off about race.
Right,
It
that's
was
just
a well thought out point.
Yeah.
And he was right about white racism. Like
He
how
knew
he's
more
like, he's-
about white culture than any black guy I've ever.
More than most white people.
Yeah.
I've talked to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
No, and he was basically a very.
Yes.
I just realized who was talking.
Yeah.
Me.
Actually, this is actually it was 2 of them, and you talked to them both twice.
This is too.
I thought it was 2 totally 4
This is
different
too
guys.
white on black. Let's ask somebody of a different creed. Russ, you're kind of Asian. You have to stand in for our only celestial in the room.
No, but he was fair. I mean, I wasn't like Jim said. It wasn't a knee-jerk black, response. He was fair, and
Yeah.
he stood up for white people as well.
And he didn't like white women, which threw me immediately, being a black comic. Do you think
slept with
that
a
held
few,
it back
though.
more than anything?
What's
That
that?
he didn't like white
That he didn't
women?
like white, he didn't bang white chicks.
No, he did sleep with a few white chicks.
I know, but it didn't help his career like a lot of the other, like your Sammy Davis, your Russ and I were talking about something that we're the weakest generation of comics on the way down there because we're like, think about it, Don Rickles, Joan Rivers,
Right.
people have been through wars, just
Yeah.
all these amazing things.
Blacklist, yeah.
They're still going, It's like us, who knows
Just
what's going to
down
happen.
so fast.
Yeah, all of
Yeah,
our
Freddie
guys,
Roman
all
is
our
still
best
around.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And Freddie Roman. I mean, like just so many. Jackie Mason alone, like he's like
Yes.
doing something right now.
Yep.
Who knows what he's doing?
Exactly.
That's a frightening thought.
Denying
No, but
paternity of.
The cast
No,
of
that's
Hot
true.
and
He
Cleveland.
lost a lot. Hedberg.
This year. Oh, yeah. From I can go further back.
Geraldo, yeah, even
Jerry
Schimmel, a little older.
Wilson.
Jerry Red Wilson.
Fuck yeah, Jerry.
This year it was
Schimmel.
Schimmel. It started with Jenny, Richard Jenny.
Yep.
I guess you could say that was like in the
Drake
Geraldo.
Sather.
Oh, that
Died
yeah,
the
that
same
guy.
way.
That was what. Yeah, that was the shooting
Yeah.
himself.
Jesus.
Wow, this
Yes.
is depressing.
Patrice Stefano.
Hedberg, Geraldo, Mike DiStefano,
Freddie Soto.
Yeah,
Freddie
Freddie
Soto, that's right. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
yeah,
Jeez, comics die more than rappers, dude.
They really do.
they do.
Amazing.
Rappers are healthy now. They live
Yeah.
a good life.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all drinking wheatgrass. What happened to you guys? Criminals.
Vitamin water.
Wheatgrass and Red Bull.
Is there anything the fans can do, like any donation set up by the,
Yeah, we're
by
gonna-
the family?
Honestly,
or,
what I think is
We're gonna
do they
figure it
need
all
money
out.
or like,
no, but
what's-
I think a show of support. Because I'm doing Magoobies
Oh,
in Baltimore
wow.
this weekend, and I really think to get those shows sold out,
You know,
it's what
that's
he
gonna
would have
help.
wanted.
I would have wanted.
I was waiting for Jim to break the ice because I'm at Mohegan Sun. See, there we go. And we were talking about the cafeteria, but I can't. And I was waiting. I knew he was going to do it.
Of course,
Waiting for his lead.
Yes, it's what he would have wanted.
Of course.
A full house for me.
It's what he would.
Yeah, we'll figure
plugs.
it. To answer Dave's question, we'll figure it all out.
Yeah, we'll do something.
We'll
Obviously,
absolutely do something.
I don't know what, but
'cause,
Yeah, we don't know yet. We don't know what's going on yet.
Yeah.
And
it's a weird time.
I assume his family and all that, want their whatever service. There will be a service.
yeah. They're already looking for a church, and I think.
Is it going to be in New York or?
I think New York. I'm not sure though. But I don't know if it's been decided, but they'll probably know by today or tomorrow. So we'll, everybody will find out. I just don't know exactly what day. Next week sometime maybe.
Yeah, it was so hard to just even sleep last night. Every time you start dozing off, you just think about it. It's one of those.
He rocked
fucking
on this show. You
people
guys
dying
really
sucked.
Oh, we were fortunate, man.
No,
Oh,
you
I
guys
know.
were very cool to bring him on and
It's
let
just-
him
What, are
be
you kidding me?
himself.
We were
If he
honestly.
sucked, he wouldn't have fucking
Yeah.
been
No,
on.
but-
He was so good at just talking about anything.
Yeah, he
like,
really
so
was.
insightful. And a lot of listeners would write in and say shit like, "Oh, I don't agree with him. Fuck his opinion on this." It's like,
Is that really what they said? Come
no,
on.
they all right. They
Get that rich
called
book
him a
out of
nigger.
here.
Yes, they did.
What's that cantaloupe doing? Your crowd's a little,
That guy's a real nincompoop.
A little rough around the edges.
Yeah. There's no Occupy. You got the Outback Steakhouse crowd, not the Occupy Wall Street.
Fuck, this was fun.
Yeah,
Now
it really
goes back to sucking.
made me laugh a lot today. Just talking about all that shit. It's still very hard to watch videos and shit like that.
Impossible to digest
It's
at
so
this
hard
point.
to do that. Yeah.
It's impossible to digest at this
Yeah,
point.
you
know?
can't.
It's a goddamn shame.
I was on my
Yeah.
way out to see him, and I got the phone call yesterday morning. Did you get to see him in the hospital?
Yeah.
Took that U-turn,
I
huh?
didn't see him.
We went the day before Thanksgiving, me and Matt Frost, and you just talked to him for a few minutes. You knew he couldn't hear you. I told him everybody was asking for him, and hoping he could hear, but kind of hoping he couldn't, because he was on morphine. It's like you don't want him to know.
Yeah.
And it was very, very sad.
He didn't.
And what
he wasn't
did he do,
responsive at
Jim?
all.
No, not at all. I don't believe so. Matt Frost said he might have made some type of a gesture, but you don't know if that's just.
Jesus.
Oh, that's horrible.
You don't know if that's involuntary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
For somebody so mentally outspoken, and
That's just it. Yeah.
to be like in a locked-in syndrome.
It's
That's
terrible.
horrible.
It's the fate worse than death.
Did he do you think he recognized?
I don't
seeing you
know
guys?
because we didn't know he was going to die in a few days, but by then I think he was very heavily medicated again. It was just so I'm almost hoping he didn't know or it filtered in somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good,
The wor- the
good that we
worst-
had a lot of laughs and ended on a great up note.
I think the fans wanted to know too. That's such a sad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Watching it,
No,
It's a
they
blessing
didn't.
then if he's.
No, I know. Yeah, because somebody like that, you don't want to think that they're put in a position where they're cognitive. They know exactly what's going on, but they can't express themselves because that's what he did so well.
Yeah.
Is just
Do you know how
express-
bizarre it is to have a one-way conversation with Patrice O'Neal? It took that. It's the most surreal thing I ever did in my life. I'm like, I could just say anything and you can't respond. I wish I had this opportunity years ago.
You should have spent 12 hours there.
Just trying my jokes on him.
Patrice, everybody misses you. We hope you're well. Black people are responsible for their own
Yeah.
plight.
And you know what, dude? Look, white pussy, I'm
And
sorry,
I know
but
you're
it's
in
better.
there thinking I'm right. I know you're inside there, and you can hear me, and you know I'm right.
Oh, I should have done that.
And I'll tell everybody you said so. And that's how you'll be remembered.
And played like Judas Priest and Ozzy and things that he would really fucking hate.
Jeez, I brought you Joe's mixtape of his favorite.
Joe's stupid mixtape.
Hey, I got Joe's Comedy Central special here I'm going to put on for you. I should have just put on all the comedians. Not just, no, but all the comedians. I should have just put on, because he never would have wanted to just sit there and have comedians playing. That would have been a fucking fate
what
worse
a
than...
nightmare.
Or like the anthology of improv. That would be great. Here's the whitest kid you know. Come on, guys. The French waiter sketch.
Oh my God.
But you wouldn't hear anything. You would just hear like... The heart monitor going up.
The ultimate focus group.
There was nothing worse for me than being on stage as a seller and Patrice had to go to the bathroom and walking by that stage and I'm just shaking his head at you like, you stink. Nothing worse. I would just pray he didn't have to go piss when I was on stage. I got that look every time.
I used to go on the road with him to open for him sometimes, and he'd sit in the wing like of the stage or whatever, and you'd walk off stage. You'd have a good set. You'd walk off stage, you get applause, and he'd just be shaking his head, going, I guess I'll go try to clean up that fucking mess.
Well, I
felt that way too all the time. Every time he watched me.
I had my recorder on the side, where Patrice was sitting, and then I go home and listen to the tape. The whole tape was him telling me how much I suck.
That's great.
So funny.
First time I met him, Jamie Duke, I might have told the story recently, but Jamie Duke, it was a local booker. He had set up a college. It was me opening, Patrice middling, and Dom Fig headlining. You remember Dom?
Oh, God.
And it was a
He
horrible...
became the vampire of comedy after
the vampire comedian.
He was the vampire of comedy.
What do you mean?
Well,
he decided, he was Dom Fig for about 40 years of stand-up, and then he decided to be the vampire of comedy.
Was
so
he a
he put in
vampire?
teeth.
Oh, no.
And he started
He put white makeup on.
white makeup on.
No.
But he would wear a fanny pack on stage. He had a fanny pack that he had his stuff in, but he didn't take it off. He was like the vampire with a fanny pack. But he would do... I asked him gently, so why are you being the vampire comedy? And he said, I'll be on every show because I'm the only vampire comedy.
Yeah.
So they'll have to have me on every I will be on every show.
Did it work?
Yeah, he hosted SNL.
He's in the new Twilight movies.
I bombed. It was a nooner.
Ahead of his time, dude.
It was an afternoon gig in a fucking college, and it was horrible. And I bombed, and Patrice, who I'd never met before, went on, and he didn't do much better. I might have had a 1, maybe he had a 2.5.
Wait, he did a college gig?
Yeah, this is many years ago.
That is the ultimate bad.
No, bad booking.
And then Dom Fig went on and fucking had like a -3. And fucking Patrice, I had to drive him back to New York. And he's making fun of me because I was like acknowledging that I was bombing. He's like, "You're up there like, hey, I tell you, no respect." And he's just attacking me like I bombed. And I'm like, "You fucking bombed too." He's like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "You fucking asshole." I hated him. I hated Patrice when I first. This fucking pompous idiot really thought he did well.
You really couldn't stand him at that moment, right?
Motherfucker, I hated him the first time.
I think that was the way
God, that's
people
great.
took you. Hated him the first time,
Yes.
and then the next time you see him, you're like, "Oh, there's that guy."
There's that asshole
But if you
guy.
start there with somebody, there's like nothing. What else is he going to do?
You're going up,
and
and he'll charm you.
Anything he says,
I don't
you're
remember
like,
when I
he's
liked
all
him.
right. He's
Dude,
all right.
Part of the burden of like it was always like I always said hello to him the wrong way or something. So like
Yeah.
I came one time I slapped him on the back. He's like, "Don't you ever come up to me!" I'm like, "All
Yeah.
right, what?" Yeah, it's like an emotional burden. to
No,
approach
sometimes
him.
I see him and I'm like, I'm not sure exactly the perfect way to say hi to him. I don't even want to try. I'm gonna get called out on some bullshit just for what's up, Patrice? Oh, come on with that.
What's up?
Yeah, I don't want to examine my whole life every time.
We were driving back from Montreal once, and we were lost. We couldn't find the highway, and we pull up to this guy at a stoplight. Patrice puts his head out the window and goes, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, kind sir. I need directions to the highway. Could you please direct me and my lost friends, please?" Right? And the guy goes, "Yeah, sure, man. You just go." And he just fucking rolls up his window as the guy's giving him directions. and we're laughing. We're laughing so hard, and he's going, he's with a fucking Patrice, and then he just goes, God damn it, I can't do it. And he rolled his window down. He goes, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Give me the fucking directions.
He was telling me a story about a comedian he was having a problem with in Boston that was bad mouth, and I'm giving him a hard time. So Patrice just calls him up on the phone, and he says, I hear you're bad mouthing me. You're saying all this shit. And he says, next time you're on stage, and very calmly, he's like, I'm just going to walk in, and I'm gonna throw a chair at you. And then we're just going to see where it goes from there, and I'll just keep throwing chairs. Just the way he so calmly said it to me. And I'm just going to throw a chair at you.
He was never. That's one thing he wasn't though. God. Like Patrice would emotionally bully people, but he never, ever used his physical imposing, other than what people would be nervous of by just looking at him.
Right.
Never tried to physically bully people. But I mean, never even tried to impose his size.
No.
It was all fucking his voice and his booming opinions. He never tried to physically bully people.
But the size was,
People would take that, but he didn't.
But
Jim, you were the best wife you've ever had. He never laid a hand on me. I just can't shit without crying.
No matter how cold supper was.
He would only make me feel awful.
He would just yell at me.
Never laid a hand on me. He assassinated my character. He made me hate myself. But he never laid a hand on me, not one time.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he would never do that. He could
Never. Not even close.
He
All
could just,
psychological damage.
It's like I said earlier.
Why bother? He didn't need to.
Like I said earlier, he totally diffused his huge size with what he had to say.
Because he was smart. And
he was really smart.
As soon as you realize that, and the best was watching a comic try to fucking go back and forth with him, and it's like, you're one of those guys who doesn't understand that he's a lot brighter than you.
Yeah,
and he's going to really humiliate you on a visceral
And he was
level.
the first guy during the 9/11 thing where, whatever, during the war, whatever, where he goes, Muslims, you now are the new, N-word, you guys. Like, he was the first guy who did that, and he did it, like, a lot smarter and classier than I've heard it a million times since that, And he was the first guy to make that connection, so.
Even when he did Letterman, remember, when he gets up there, he goes, Patrice, you're a big guy. He goes, you just call me fat, Dave. He goes, no, you just call me fat. That's okay, but you just call me fat. Like, right off the bat, his first time on there, attacks Letterman 10 seconds
only
into the
Dave can't have that.
Oh, shit, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess.
what?
Sorry. I was going to ask Jim a question, because you probably know. Was he the kind of, you're talking about his size?
I write a lot, and I just... Oh, sorry. I'm so used to giving advice.
Was he the kind of guy
Take time out
that
of
would
every day.
actually, like, would he fight if it came down to it? Like, he seems so nonviolent in any way. Like, would he just walk away, or would he, you know what I mean?
I think he would have. Sure, he played football, and people didn't want to try him. I remember there was a...
He was a bouncer. I mean,
he was a strong guy.
He was very, very strong.
People out.
He grabbed me once just playing around, and you felt he was very strong.
Was it in a shower? Right. Let's move forward.
We were in a car one time in the village, and the guy, there was a black guys in front of us, and their car stopped, and there was a cab behind us, beeping, and so the fucking black guys in front of us kind of got out of their car and thought it was Patrice, and it was going to be a physical thing. And the guy said, and Patrice is like, hey, gangster, it's him. And the way he spoke to the guy, you realize that he wasn't afraid of a physical confrontation. The guy didn't back him off. It was interesting to see him in that, because I'd never seen him in a situation where there could be a physical problem, and he handled it very well.
He was super intimidating.
He was really intimidating. He had the hat on, and you just didn't know what he was capable of. So yeah, of course, I think he would have if he had to.
But I've never seen him get out of that car, because the last 3 times I did see him, he was in that car. He would pull up, and then you go over to him, and he would talk to you like I used to say, like the show Cannon. He would pull up and then talk to him.
And you bend down to talk to him.
And then
bend
you
over
run
to
off
talk
and
to him like when you're talking to a guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You kind of have to take a knee so you can talk to him.
He could go like, I guess he didn't want to go in the cellar or didn't like feel comfortable there for a while.
There was a very uncomfortable thing.
He'd be like, who else is in there? And you'd be like, so-and-so's in there. He goes, well, tell him I'm out here. So then you go in there and go like, hey, Patrice is outside. And then like some other guy would talk to him. And like we all would just come out and talk to him in the car.
It was like talking to Paulie from Goodfellas. Yeah, we had to go to
like
somebody,
pimp.
get them out.
Yes.
He pulled up like the ice cream man. Everybody fucking ran out.
And then you'd be out there talking to him, like, why did I come out here? It was nice inside. I was having fun. And he's just, this is toxic. Why did I walk outside to be insulted by an asshole on a fucking 6-seat Escalade?
Well, what's the ultimate like insult to you like that he did? Because I know like you and him went back and forth and back.
He said so many funny. One time I was getting a tough crowd. They had chair massages, and I was flirting with the chair masseuse. And he walked in. He asked her, do you feel like you're checking a piece of fruit to see if it's bad? Which was humiliating because she laughed at me.
I remember when we went on the virus tour once, and we were sitting at the table signing people's shit afterwards.
Right.
And I was sitting next to Patrice, and some teenage kid says, "I'm only 15," and he was like bragging about how he was a teenager. And then he asked me to sign his underwear, like he pulled his underwear up out of his jeans, and he asked me to sign his underwear. So I'm like, I don't give a shit. I go for it with the Sharpie, and Patrice slaps the Sharpie out of my hand, literally, and goes, "What? You're going to sign a teenage boy's underwear? You know how fast you're going to be in jail?" Like, he smacked me. He said, "What are you doing?"
He really would hang out after a show and like talk to all the fucking people that didn't walk out. And he wasn't like. I mean, I remember him telling me that, 'cause I always hate that. Like, I want to go get the fuck out of there. And he was like he would always hang out with all of them, even if they hated his guts, and talk to every single person. Talk to him.
Yeah, and the crowd. I saw him once in Cleveland, and the crowd was just like every fucking mixture of race and
Very
creed,
diverse.
color.
Always.
Yeah, it was. There'd be the black people that would come in, the black contingency would come in, and then the white people would come in. It just really he wasn't pigeonholed into a
It was
one group
crossover
of people.
acts, we call it.
Yeah,
You didn't see him rageful very often. Very, very rarely would you see him like that fucking. But you once in a while saw it, and it was just a very rare thing. He never had to get to that level of just fucking visceral anger. Like Bob will get to it quickly, or I'll get to it quickly. But he didn't have that fear. Louis said it really well. Bobby has this fear of he doesn't exist if he's not fucking exploding. But I mean, that's how I am too. And it was interesting to see Patrice. He would never get to that point of rage when you were arguing. He could be louder than you. Yes. He said that to people at times. You're not going to be louder than me. And you're like, yeah, that's a good point. You're not.
Yeah. I remember many times he'd be talking about something here, if you want to call it talking, and Opie's just pulling the fader back, down, and it just at some point it sounded like he was talking through a paper and a comb.
That's what, you know what? It had a great effect though on this show. That when he'd get upset, he'd start sounding off mic because you'd actually start hearing him on everybody else's mic.
Yes.
Right.
His was off at one point.
He would go from it, and then he'd be like, and another thing, and then and it had its own thing to it. Fuck. I wish he'd gone for a couple of walks. That's all.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, that's what I was telling my kids. Like, I wish now I had gone to his house and just said, "Get the fuck, let's go. We're going for a walk."
He wouldn't have.
Just walk around the block with me, you fat motherfucker. You're gonna die. Because you joke about that stuff when you know somebody who's unhealthy. He's not gonna make it. And then, but it's when you're around 40, it's no joke anymore.
Yep.
You can't do it anymore.
Starts breaking down. How do you understand this shit?
I don't know what you do with a person who's alive when they're not taking care of themselves.
Do you learn from this shit? Like,
I don't know.
What do you do?
I don't know.
This is brutal.
I mean, I remember when Geraldo was in the hospital, I thought he'll be okay.
Right.
And when he comes out, I'm going to call him and say, "Hey, man, I don't drink. If you want to go to a movie sometime." Maybe a hard thing about being addicted is that everybody you know does it. And, like, I don't do anything.
And by the way, never once has somebody been jonesing for coke and they said, "All right, instead of getting high, I'm going to go to a movie with Louis C.K." What are you fucking you live in a house on the prairie? We'll just make some cornmeal.
You really aren't talking yourself up, or really talking coke down.
We'll go to the pictures. He'll be fine.
The picture show.
Coke is like going to the movies alone. You people don't understand.
It's hard. There's two competing things you want to do so bad.
Dave, how do you make sense of this? Do you?
Actually, there's two ways to look. One of them is Louis' way, which is like, it would be great if he had cleaned up his act. The other one is that, like, I consider him like one of the last great, dirty, filthy, genius warrior comics, and that, I think he unlike a lot of the people in this world, got to live, say, and do pretty much everything he wanted to do. It's kind of sad that he left so early, but you know, to be honest, I think he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. You know, it's a sad end, but from seeing this over and over and over, it's like you know, the guy was incredible at what he did, and we're just kind of lucky that we all got a chance to see it live and get to know it. And for the fans of Patrice and comedy like that, you know, really, that kind of comedy is not going to be there forever. So you know, it's every day it's getting a little tamer, it's a little lamer, and it's a little more you know, crunchy. So you know, if you like somebody brutally great like that, you should really like, you know, go see it live. And I think that's the point of it. But I have no answer on what it is.
It just
well, he
stinks.
would have been. He was getting better.
Yeah.
And his voice would have been more. It would have just gotten better. It's
Yes,
not like
he would have been
it's
a
not
better
like
coach.
being an athlete where you just have your golden years and you phase out.
Yep.
Comedies, you get better when you're mature. Dave's getting better. Everybody I know is getting better as they get older.
I'm holding, I think. I'd say I'm
No,
holding
you've
where I
gotten
am.
better.
Thank you.
And Jim's gotten better. Jim is a whole other guy. You get older and you get better.
I liked this guy.
He would have gotten better. So you know, he had this fuck you, fuck it attitude, but if he had just fucking got the calories down, it wasn't like because he would be better. We'd have more Patrice and better Patrice if he had just fucking lived longer. It's just sad.
Yeah.
It's just sad to me.
If we're
It's sad.
if we're 65
Be
and
grateful
talking,
for what we had.
No,
like
I am
comedians
grateful.
do. With 65, we're talking. That'd be like 24 more years we could have had of him. Like everybody's
It's a
right.
whole other thing.
It like he did do what he wanted, and he did say whatever he wanted. You're right, and Louis right too. That it's like, hey man, I wish he would have taken a little better care of himself. Well, that's not a guarantee because he was diabetic, but you kind of wish that you would have known that wasn't the case.
Sure.
I'm glad I was as good of friends with him as I was.
Yes,
I'm happy that I was as close to him as I was.
What bums me out is an avoidable loss of a great voice, an avoidable one. That's a drag to me.
Yeah. But Geraldo was
like
an avoidable
when
loss.
Mitch died, some people were like, "Don't focus." Like when people were saying that he had died of an overdose. Some people were like, well, don't focus on the negativity of his. No, do focus on it because the fucking guy was in his 30s.
Yeah,
and he could have had a huge life and career, and he could have given a lot more. And he died of something that it should be pointed out what killed him. That doesn't have to kill a person.
Right.
That's a fucking mistake, and some people take that shit lightly. Some people go, you fuck around with drugs. It's so well, no, it kills you if you keep doing it. And that's sad. It doesn't have to be. So you know. I wish he'd taken better care of himself. That's all. That's if the only thing, if there's any positive to come out of it, it's like if somebody's not healthy, it's not a joke. You could fucking die, and that's a shame.
It's a message for the younger guys. coming
That's
up.
all.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, it really sucks how much
Take
hacks
care of
take
yourself.
care of their bodies. You know, like, hacks are always in great shape.
Yeah, exactly.
Prop
Fucking,
comics.
You know,
It's built into the act, the lifting, packing.
Lifting that suitcase
you
full
know,
of props.
Steve Byrne is cut like a swimmer. That guy's got a swimmer. Sorry, I just picked a name.
I don't even know his name, and I still know that's funny. But
That was the saddest moment to me yesterday was when I saw the Wikipedia turn over, because in the morning when it went out on Twitter, it didn't have the death on Wikipedia.
Right, yeah.
And when I saw Wikipedia turn over and it said Patrice died on this day, it was so sad
is
to me
sad.
because it was that moment where it officially became number one that he was gone, and number two, I was like, he's officially one of those guys now. He's this brilliant artist that, just like the guys I found a million times, discovered, and then you go on Wikipedia and go, I want to learn more about this guy, and then you go, fuck, he's dead?
yeah.
There's an end
This
to it.
guy's
There's-
dead?
Well,
Like,
now
that's
he's embossed at that age now. That's
Right.
it. That's the end to it.
Really
yeah,
sad.
Yeah, that is. I hate the idea of not getting any new,
Yeah.
something new that I
When he
haven't
did a
heard.
half-hour special back when we did them at the, there was a bunch of HBO half-hours that got done, and he did one when I did one. And
Did you do one of those half hours? I didn't remember.
I did
that.
a half
Okay.
hour, and it was a new thing for him. Like it was something that he was unsure of, And I remember the first show he did, he almost like froze, like he couldn't get through the show. And then the second show was good, but it wasn't his best. Like it was people weren't seeing how good he was.
Dude, Elephant in the Room's where it came out.
But then he fucking figured it out.
Yeah, that's
and he that was it. That was him going like, and now people actually see how good he was. He could have done 10 of those.
That captured his exact.
He could have just started churning those out. It would have changed It would have changed the tide for him.
He was just naturally funny, and I compared him in an interview yesterday briefly to Pryor because Pryor was Pryor. But as a naturally funny human being, there's no comic who ever lived that Patrice couldn't have sat and been funny with.
Right.
There's no fucking comedian that we call legends that he could not have sat in a room with and gone back and forth with and been respected by and been funny with. No one.
Effortlessly.
Not one comic.
When he
go ahead.
When he went on at that roast at the end, that was like the most amazing thing I ever saw because I had like at least four like Comedy Central importance that I don't even know like what all their jobs are. Like, is he going to be okay? Is his we don't have his thing? And I'm like, yeah, he'll be fine. Like, they were like getting to me, like, or I'll find like, yeah, he's going to be great. Like, and if not, it's not my fault. And he went on and like, I mean, he just what's Kate Walsh's boyfriend? This guy Chris something. He's like a producer. I remember sitting there watching Patrice at the end. He goes, "Wow, this is so different and real. Like, it was so different." I mean, they cut it pretty decent where you get a sense, but the actual thing there, like, after all these people got done with their, like, recited jokes, even the ones that were good, like, his shit was so fresh, and he's so unafraid of all these fucking Hollywood people. It was amazing, dude.
But he had to, because he was so uncompromising, he had to figure out how to make that work at all these different levels.
Yeah.
That's why it took him. Comedy takes a long time to get great at. Like, some people get good at it fast, but it takes a long time to become a great comic. So, like, the only thing you can tell anybody new is keep refining your voice and stay healthy.
Now a shitload of people discover Patrice now that he's gone.
That's the best thing you can do as far as
that's so fucked up though.
Yeah, go see Elephant in the Room.
All right,
it's just going to be a bummer when things happen and you in the news and you go like, I would love to hear Patrice's take on that, and unfortunately, sucks.
You can probably guess what it would be, though.
Oh, you can. Yeah. The crinkled nose.
He would have hated her. He would have hated her.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming in today.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for
It was
having
an
us,
easy
guys.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Dave and Jim and Lou and Joe DeRosa and Russ Maneve and Kurt Metzger and Colin and Bob and Amy. Colin and Amy just left.
Well, Colin said goodbye.
Oh, I was in the bathroom. Amy, how about some social skills? How about saying goodbye?
I think she was scheduled for like another naked headshot or something.
Good.
There were a lot of comics that wanted to come in
Yeah.
today to do their, to be a part of this. So, guys,
they
that was
come in
really cool.
tomorrow?
That was really cool that you let us come in. So, thank you.
All right.
But thanks, guys.
Everyone's good?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Patrice, we miss you.
Bye, Patrice.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I don't
Love
think
you,
he's
Patrice.
listening, though.